at 9. Presented by Aditya Birla Capital. Co-powered by JK Tyre.
Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan. India is getting a new parliament building soon. A new building for new India, for a glorious future. But we cannot forget our roots. So our national emblem is now adorning this mega structure. It took over 100 artisans and craftsmen from various parts of the country to actually come together, chisel it, working tirelessly for 9 months. The mammoth statue was inaugurated today by the Prime Minister. Just one pull of the lever unveiled the emblem cast at the top of the central foyer of the new Parliament building. The all-bronze emblem, along with its supporting structure, weighs 16,000 kilograms and truly represents what our temple of democracy stands for: by the people, of the people, for the people. The Prime Minister even interacted with the men responsible for making this a reality. He called them Shramjeevis.
अच्छा, आप लोगों को क्या लगता है, इमारत बना रहे हैं कि इतिहास बना रहे हैं? सबको मालूम है, बना रहे हैं। आपको पता है सबको? तो काम करने के लिए उसमें क्या फर्क? मकान बनाते हैं और ये बनाते हैं, तो काम करते समय क्या फर्क होता है? हमें घर वालों को पता था, पूछते होंगे क्या कर रहे हो, कैसा बन रहा है, तो लोग कहते हो यार फोटो तो ले आओ, दिखाओ हमको। है ऐसा करते हैं? आपको राशन मिल जाता है क्या? वो वन राशन का वन कार्ड है, उस कार्ड से मिल जाता है। जी सर। और क्या आपको लगता है कि हाँ हमें यहाँ आए तो ये मन को अच्छा लगा, ऐसा कौन सा बात बताए?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, जैसे कि सबरी माँ को कुटिया में गए थे राम भगवान, वैसे हमारे कुटिया माँ आए हैं, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। वाह वाह, ये तुम्हारा कुटिया, वाह। मंदिर है, देश के हर गरीब को भी लगना चाहिए उसका कुटिया है। मंदिर बड़ा बढ़िया बात बताया आप। आपके आने से उत्साह बहुत बड़ा है, और भी उत्साह के साथ काम करें। नहीं, उत्साह तो आप लोगों ने हमारा बढ़ा दिया है, और बड़ा है। आप लोगों ने समय पे काम किया है सर, हमें गर्व है इस प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करना सर। तो आप में तो किसी को कोरोना वोरोना की दिक्कत नहीं है? सब नियमों का पालन किए। अच्छा, वैक्सीनेशन हो गया सब? दोनों डोज हो गए? बूस्टर डोज भी हो गए? बड़े जागरूक हो आप। चलिए, मेरी आपको, आपके परिवार के लोगों को बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं, क्योंकि आप एक प्रकार से सिर्फ माटी पत्थर का काम नहीं कर रहे, आप देश के गौरव को एक बहुत बड़ी भेंट सौगात देने वाले हैं। जी सर, बड़ा मैंने आपको गर्व होना चाहिए। जी सर, चलिए, बहुत शुभकामनाएं, आपकी मेहनत रंग लाएगी।
However, as usual, the opposition was waiting on its toes to target the Prime Minister, and they used a new emblem to fuel their attack against the PM. For them, this event was making history for all the wrong reasons. A united opposition attacked the Prime Minister and accused him of trampling the Constitution. They tagged him a dictator. Some of them were irked by the fact that they were not invited. Allegations that were met with quick rebuttals from the BJP, who slammed the opposition for criticizing for the sake of it.
See, Prime Minister Modi entire approach to governance is that what he deems right is right. What you say in media, what people on the street says, what young people say, that, or what opposition party says, that is not of importance. He is ruling like a Shahenshah, like a dictator.
The Congress party say that what is the need for a new parliament building and the old one should have been extended or modified. This is the most hypocritical stand that the Congress party can take, but it is not surprising.
The same opposition that is now irked with an invitation not being extended to them must not forget how they opposed the Central Vista project in the first place. From going to court to accusing the centre of wasting thousands of crores on a vanity project, the opposition's criticism of the Central Vista project has been well known. The same project which has the new Parliament building as a part of it. The same project that the opposition didn't want in the first place, but are now accusing the Prime Minister of hogging the limelight for. So the legitimate question that I want to ask the NewsHour tonight, is this criticism constructive or compulsive?
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's take this across to our guest now. Sanju Verma is National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Raghunathan, author, joining us. Professor Manojit Mandal, Spokesperson of the TMC. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, joining us. Brijmohan Srivastava is the National Spokesperson of the NCP. Let me start with Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, is this compulsive or is it constructive? Because virtually the opposition has accused the government of not being democratic, of even killing federalism, one member of parliament or spokesperson said earlier today. Your response to that?
Madhav, first things first, it gives me immense pride as an honest, tax-paying citizen, not merely as the national spokesperson of the BJP, to have seen that photograph where the Prime Minister is standing beside the cast of the national emblem. I want to just quickly add a couple of very pertinent points. Point number one, the opposition, primarily the likes of Asaduddin Owaisi, have said that by inaugurating the cast of the national emblem, the Prime Minister engaged in a breach of the Constitution. So let me remind to your channel, Mr. Owaisi, and people who stand in solidarity with him in criticizing the Prime Minister, that under Article 74 and under Article 75 of the Constitution, the Prime Minister has enough powers and the prerogative to do what he did today in terms of that inauguration of the national emblem cast was entirely his. Point number two, there is a section which says that the Speaker should have done the inauguration. To them, my simple response is this. The powers of the Speaker are enshrined under Article 93, 94, 95, 96 of the Constitution, which clearly say that the Speaker's role by and large, by and large, is limited to presiding over the Lok Sabha and monitoring the proceedings of the House. Point number three, and most importantly this, despite the Supreme Court saying that the Rafale deal is above board, Madhav, what did Rahul Gandhi say? From every rooftop available in the country, Chaukidar Chor hai. Actually, Meenakshi Lekhi had to file
How is that connected to this?
Case against him. I'll quickly come. Democracy khatre mein hai under the Rafale deal. When Modi gave his approval for Covaxin, this is the same Congress, including the likes of Jairam Ramesh, who said that the Modi government is using Indians like guinea pigs. 1 minute. Democracy khatre mein hai. I want to ask one thing. Recently, when Chhattisgarh introduced a new building, they inaugurated a new Vidhan Sabha. Who went to inaugurate the Chhattisgarh Vidhan Sabha building?
Okay.
It was none other than Sonia Gandhi. Now, what constitutional force does Sonia Gandhi have?
All right.
Sonia Gandhi can
All right.
inaugurate.
There are a number of points. You've covered a number of grounds. Sanju Verma, just hold on to your thoughts because there are a number of grounds. We'll have to debate all of those points one by one. I was planning to get all those points through the course of the debate, but let me bring in Tehseen. Since you've raised the issue of what happened in Chhattisgarh, direct question, Tehseen Poonawalla, what happened in Chhattisgarh, specifically a point being made here by Sanju Verma saying that Sonia Gandhi went there to inaugurate the new legislature there. Why was the same yardstick not used when it comes to your own ruled states? Please respond.
Namaskar, Madhav. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Namaskar to all the fellow panelists and to all your viewers. The question that is to be raised today is simply this about the Parliament of India. The Parliament of India represents all the states and union territories of India. Shouldn't an invitation at least formally have gone to one MP from each state to be present there today? Because this is the representation of the Union of India. Shouldn't the opposition which was present in Chhattisgarh be present out here today?
All right, I think we've lost that line there with Tehseen. But respond to that. Opposition was present in Chhattisgarh, says Tehseen. Respond to that, Sanju Verma.
Madhav, Tehseen lies to his teeth and brazenly. He has mastered the art. This is the same Tehseen Poonawalla, despite the Congress being routed in one fort after the other, had the audacity to be on a show which you were hosting, and I was there on the panel, and said Congress will win 4 out of the 5 assembly seats. They lost every assembly seat that was fought recently a few months back, including Uttar Pradesh, where they got 2 seats, and Tehseen still feels that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is the best thing that happened to India after brown bread. So what Tehseen says has very little credibility. My simple point is this. What is unconstitutional, point number one, about the Prime Minister doing the inauguration of the cast of the national emblem? And have you forgotten, Madhav, that in 2021, the Congress filed one petition after the other against the central which
Yes, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. But since you made the point of what is unconstitutional, the point being made by the likes of Asduddin Owaisi and other political party leaders is that the constitution envisages separation of powers. Now, the head of the parliament is the president, along with the two houses of parliament, and therefore the president was better suited for this inauguration, is the argument that is being made. The Prime Minister is the head of the executive, not of the legislature. That's the point they're making. Sanju Verma.
The Prime Minister, Madhav, our constitution talks about cooperative federalism. Our constitution talks about constructive criticism from the other side. Our constitution also lays down under Article 74 and 75 the executive powers of the Prime Minister, his legislative powers, his foreign policy powers, his powers over the military. You know, Article 75 is sweeping. And I challenge Tehseen Poonawalla to tell me which section of Article 75 did Prime Minister Narendra Modi breach or flout in inaugurating the cast of the national emblem today?
Okay, direct question to Tehseen. I'm going to let him take that. Where has any of the constitutional provisions been violated is a direct question. Tehseen, please respond.
Okay, two quick questions because I got cut off because of the phone line. Just two things. In the Chhattisgarh issue that Ms. Verma is speaking about, she refused to answer that the entire opposition was present there for the foundation stone. And Mrs. Gandhi was invited. Mrs. Gandhi did not leave. She was invited. She didn't come. It was in 2020. Please don't come up and make up facts out here. Number two, and more important and pertinent point out here is, nothing stops the Prime Minister from inaugurating. Who said, have I said once the Prime Minister cannot inaugurate it? My question is, why is the opposition not there? Because this is a man who believes in I, me, myself. A man who has his pictures on my vaccine certificate believes that it's all about himself. He has the most pictures in the world than any other leader, including Mugabe or Erdogan or Putin.
Why should we not have Narendra Modi's
Is Mrs. Gandhi's photo on your vaccine certificate? What are you talking? On the vaccine certificate. On the vaccine certificate.
Why not? Why not? People like you said that.
No, I don't want the merchant of debt.
Full vaccination of the adult.
Let's be a little careful about our language here. Let me bring in other panelists now. All right, let me quickly bring in some of the other panelists. Professor Monajit Mandal. I'm going to come to both of you, please. There are others who are still waiting for the turn. Professor Monajit Mandal, from being called a complete waste of taxpayer money to being called a vanity project, then it was called Modi Mahal. After all of those choicest epithets being used for the Central Vista and the new Parliament building, now when the opposition comes out to say, opposing it even in Supreme Court, everyone has every right to do so. It does seem a bit odd for the same opposition parties to come out and say, you didn't invite us for the inauguration of this one event or this one project, which was repeatedly challenged and abused by opposition parties for the last couple of years.
No, thanks for remembering that we are also in the debate. It's not between two persons. One is a spokesperson.
I apologize for keeping you waiting, sir. Please go ahead.
No, I mean, is it because of that? Yeah, I'm representing a party, very responsible All India Trinamool Congress. So is it because of that the opposition leaders were not invited? Because they criticized at a time when the whole country, the whole world was suffering because of huge COVID surge. We just wanted the government to channel the money from there to the COVID fight and hold it for some time, right? Is because of that only the opposition were not invited? So is it a vindictive, retributive act on the part of the government? And it is also clear when my friend from BJP is invoking the powers of the Constitution, she is making it amply clear that the Prime Minister, because of his powers in the Constitution, he has inaugurated it. Not by the President of the country, not by the Speaker of the Parliament. For God's sake, Parliament belongs to the opposition. That is the convention in this country. This is the first Parliament building in the independent India. The earlier one was structured by the British, all of you know. The entire opposition leaders should have been there. But the fact remains that the Prime Minister believes in PR exercises. And not just because of this, but for any other reason, the entire opposition is entirely bulldozed. Why the passing of legislation, very important legislation? Why the use talking about co-party federalism? My God! Bengal government has been asking for their due money, 98,000 crores on account of GST or rural employment guarantee schemes, everything. Nothing, including income tax revenues. Please, madam, have some...
Sanju, I'm coming to you. I want Anand to come in now. The number of points that have been raised, I want Dr. Anand Raghunathan to respond to several of them. Dr. Anand Raghunathan, simple point being made over here is this, that ultimately in the parliament, the government, the opposition both have to sit together. Yes, you made a very important point. Let others respond to you on that point. A very important point. I'll come back to you. We still have a lot of time. Why is it that opposition members were not there? Ultimately, the parliament has to be run by both sides, whether it is opposition, whether it is treasury. The parliament belongs to all, as it belongs to all citizens of this country. Dr. Raghunathan.
Yeah, good evening to all my panelists. Look, personally, I think this is making a mountain out of a molehill. There is nothing wrong in the Prime Minister and the Speaker inaugurating the emblem. They've inaugurated just the emblem. I'm sure Rahul Gandhi and others will be present as the leader of the opposition in 2024 when the whole building is inaugurated. Look, they promoted open defecation because they hated Modi's Swachh Bharat. They promoted obesity because they hated Modi's Fit India. They promoted oppressive dress code because they hate Modi's government school uniform guidelines. Modi hatred has transformed the opposition into sociopaths. Let's hope Modi doesn't start promoting pranayam. Ye log to saans lena band kar denge. Very quickly, Rahul, there are, Madhav, I beg your pardon, there are three issues here on which the opposition is outraging. And let me clear their doubts on all. Number one, why was the opposition not invited? Well, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha was there. And so was the Prime Minister. The President was also not there, by the way. What do you want? The roof to be brimming with the entire opposition for just the inauguration of an emblem? Arey bhai, building inaugurate karenge to bula lena sabko. And besides, every session, all they do is rush to the well when unhappy. What if they jump from the roof on a whim? Let me be clear. After a lot of trial and error, Madhav, the BJP has finally mastered the art of blunting all opposition to its decisions. Deliver on what the Congress promised. It is eerie how they have been fulfilling Congress promises one after another, from erecting tallest flagpoles to bullet train, to playing national anthem in cinema halls, to Aadhaar, to GST, to CAA, to farm bills, and to now the new parliament building. Bol Modi ji rahe, shabd Congress ke. Rahul must be saying, jaye to jayega, kare to karega, wah Modi ji wah. New parliament, if you don't know, Madhav, was a Congress idea, flouted by Jairam Ramesh. Rahul must be saying, can we at least do something that we have proposed? But the problem is, it was demanded by them back in 2012. Unfortunately, they indulged in so many scams that they ran out of public money. Number two, very briefly, just 30 seconds. Others are also outraging, especially Owaisi. Why was there a Hindu ceremony and a puja and havan? You know, this is the most illogical of all arguments. Number one, the world over, things are launched with religio-cultural ceremonies. We launch our fighter planes with ceremonies interesting to all three religions. And second, if you don't want Hindu ceremonies, then stop controlling only Hindu temples. Stop leeching billions of only Hindu places of worship. So, you know, let us be very clear. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. It is just the launching or inauguration of an emblem, for heaven's sake. It's not the entire building, for which I'm sure everyone would be invited.
All right. Let me bring in fact, you know, on some of the points that were made by you. Let me bring in back Professor Bhuvanajit Mandal. Professor Bhuvanajit Mandal, the question that is being asked is this: that at the end of the day, and in fact, BJP spokesperson Amit Malviya has tweeted that PM is head of the government to unveil the emblem atop the parliament building. Now, the Congress had opposed the central vista, but when the Prime Minister has put workers who have in fact given shape to this building, they are being undermined by the opposition. The point is that is there something that prevents the Prime Minister as the head of the government from attending this particular function? That point is being repeatedly asked by the BJP. Please respond to that point.
The Prime Minister of this country is the head of the government, not of the parliament. The head of the parliament is, we know, the custodian of the parliament is the President of India. And the Speaker supervises the proceedings. Everyone knows that. In fact, the Prime Minister is accountable to the Parliament, right? He is accountable to the Parliament, largely to the opposition, who is voicing the people of this country, the will of the opposition at large. It's amply clear that conventionally, Parliament belongs to the opposition, because that's the only place where majority of the people would be represented, right? And in terms of number, like 60% of the opposition actually represent themselves through their elected parliamentarians in the parliament. Only 40%, maybe even less, 33% of the BJP are actually forming the government. It's just that. It's not the question. Please, sir, you every night, sir, you are masquerading as a professor and political analyst.
You know,
please have some
this
courtesy.
guy, he's a lackey.
Otherwise, you come out in the open saying that you are an...
Okay, one at a time. Gentlemen, one at a time. One at a time. One at a time. I'm going to come to you. Dr. Rangnath, there is time. There is time. Let him make his point.
Let me call you out.
Okay, let him make his point. Let's not. In fact, let's not make any personal comments. Let's not make any personal comments either of you gentlemen, please. Let's stick to the debate.
Let Eichmann not get personal. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, let's not get personal. I agree with that comment. Let's not get personal, please. Professor Mandal and Dr. Rangnathan, no personal comments, please, to both of you.
I did not make any personal
Yes. I agree. Let him make his point now. Okay.
But you can't come in between, right? You're factually wrong. Your government could not implement CAA. And recognizing the opposition, not just from the political parties, people at large. In the last, took 3 years, even could not implement CAA. So you must apologize on TV for not doing that. You're talking to me about CAA, I call you out, right? Come to this point. It's courtesy. What? Even in Bengal, today they were supposed to inaugurate the metro station, which was the brainchild of the CM, Chief Minister, when she was the railway minister in 2009. He was invited 12 hours back, and that's too after a lot of criticism.
Okay.
That's the level of...
So the same thing is being done by the centre in the state of West Bengal. That's the response coming in from Professor Mandal. Anand Rangnath, Dr. Anand Rangnath. Yes. Okay, you made your point, sir. Now listen to the response, please.
Yes, can you please mute him out like his fledgling career? Now listen, I don't get personal, but I don't spare anyone who gets personal. So let me now respond in kind to this little Eichmann. Now please be quiet.
This caveat is
Professor Mandal, please be quiet. Little Eichmann,
instruct the producer.
Little Eichmann, be quiet.
No comments, no personal comments, please. I'm requesting both of you again. Please, let's not reduce the level of this debate, please. It's my request to both of you. No reducing the level of this debate. Let's stick to the facts at hand. No personal comments. Otherwise, I'll have to lower both faders. Dr. Rangnathan, please.
He can't ask you to...
I have told him not to make personal comments, sir. Let us not get into a personal fight, please. We are losing time unnecessarily on this debate. Dr. Rangnathan.
Madhav, unless you want to lose time, please mute him out. Because I did not get personal. I hope you understand that. Everyone's watching it live. I am only responding because he got personal. And number two, as for his ridiculous remark, now again, Madhav, can I please continue? Or
make your point, Dr. Rangnathan. Make your point. Please carry on.
You know, you bring these people who just not... Yeah. So he's saying I should apologize for the CAA not being notified. I am the first one who has blasted this government for not notifying CAA. He does not even have his facts ready. My objection was the fact that the people like this Professor Mandal are objecting to the CAA on moral and ethical grounds.
Okay.
They have no right to do so. And these are the same people who have turned a blind eye to how Calcutta High Court has actually castigated them. Castigated them for the post-poll Bengal violence. That is why I called him Little Eichmann. He turns his eye away. He is the one who's responsible for turning himself away and ignoring the castigation of Calcutta High Court. When Hindu women have been raped, pillaged and ethnically cleansed from Bengal, people like Mondal, they turn a blind eye to this carnage because of political exigency.
Debate is going on.
Okay. Let me now bring in someone else from the opposition. Brijbhon Srivastav is with us. Brijbhon Srivastav of the NCP is with us. Yes, I'm going to bring in Mr. Srivastav. Mr. Srivastav, simple question. The question that is also being asked is that even when, opposition parties have had their events, for instance, they've not called in the Prime Minister. For instance, an international conference on Nehru was held in the year 2014, but the Prime Minister was not invited for that. So, I mean, this kind of, this has also happened in the past, is all I'm saying, by the side of the opposition as well.
If the government is following the past events, then it's very difficult to discuss. Thing is this, when the Prime Minister is going to Central Vesta project, it is the basic responsibility of the Housing Minister as well as the chairman, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. and the General Secretary of the Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, you know, the government has issued various circular and various order regarding the give the proper response and the respect to the to the member of parliament as well as the MLAs. Say for the example, on 11 October 2018 and 15 March 2021, government has given clear-cut order that if anything is happened on the behalf of the parliament or on behalf of the government, the local member of parliament and local MLA should be invited in those programs. When the government is not following that thing, it's a responsibility of the Mr. Hardeep Puri ji and the Secretary General of the Lok Sabha and the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. I know we are having no objection. If the Prime Minister is inaugurating the National Emblem, we are having no objection on it. Anybody can be a Prime Minister and anybody can do it. But the thing is this, why we have forgotten the Member of Parliament, why we have forgotten the opposition leader, why we have forgotten the sitting MLAs of the Delhi. This is the issue. And why these people are doing this thing? Simply they want to have a name on that stone. They want to survive for a long.
Okay, you want to carve your name in history. Yeah, Sanju Verma, question for you. You want to carve your name and place in history. That's the allegation coming in. Thereby, you are ignoring opposition, you are ignoring members of parliament. And a question that Professor Mandal has raised, that ultimately the floor of the House in both the houses of parliament is where the government is held accountable, that the ministers, the Prime Minister, all have to answer questions of the opposition on behalf of the public. And in that sense, the Speaker and the Chairman or Deputy Chairman of the Raj Sabha are those who are the custodians of that house. So their question is that isn't it a direct conflict when the Prime Minister is heading such an event and inaugurating it? That's the question. 2-3 questions coming in from their side. Please respond.
Madhav, you know, you have elucidated the questions coming in from the opposition's end very comprehensively. I did not interrupt anyone and I need my time. First and foremost to the Trinamool Congress, which made an allegation that GST dues have not been paid. In 10 seconds, let me tell Professor Mandal that last year the government paid GST dues to states to the tune of 2.19 lakh crore, and as we speak, every month revenue deficit grant of almost 10,000 crores is paid every month to states. Kerala and West Bengal are amongst the top states in terms of getting compensation from the Modi government. So Mr. Mandal needs to educate himself. Point number 2, you know, this whole facade about Narendra Modi not giving due credence and credit to the opposition. अरे पहले एक constructive विपक्ष की तरह behave तो करो. Do you remember, Madhav, that 7th of May is celebrated as Rabindranath Tagore Jayanti with lot of pomp and gaiety all over India, especially in Kolkata. And when last year the Modi government had sent 1 month in advance to Mamata Banerjee an invite, purely driven by hubris, he refused.
Sanju ji,
I did not interrupt you, so please keep quiet.
Sanju ji, please.
I did not interrupt you.
आप थोड़ा बताएं विपक्ष को कैसे बिहेव करना चाहिए.
आप पहले जब आपकी बारी आएगी तब
आपने प्रश्न किया, मैं क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूँ, कैसे विपक्ष को कैसे बिहेव करना चाहिए. क्या तालियां बजाएं विपक्ष? क्या करें विपक्ष?
तालियां बजानी है बजाओ. आपकी सरकार महाराष्ट्र में गिर चुकी है, मुंह छुपाओ जाकर. तालियां बजानी है बजाओ, जाकर मुंह छुपाओ.
क्या बजाए विपक्ष?
Okay. No side debates, no side debates, please, no side debates. But I want to ask Tehseen one question. Tehseen Poonawalla.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, okay, quickly make your point. 15 seconds, make your point. Complete your point.
No, I need 30 seconds because you gave enough time to Mr. Mandal. Let me tell you one more thing.
Okay. Once again, sir, let him make a point. We have limited time now. Let him make a point and then we'll come back for a quick response from the opposition. Yes.
Central Vista project, Madhav, was repeatedly criticized by the opposition. It was a bench led by Justice A.M. Khanvilkar of the Supreme Court who finally gave a clearance saying that no laws were broken, neither notification with respect to land use nor environmental clearances. The opposition wanted to ground this project, and today they have the audacity to say, "हमने invitation क्यों नहीं मिला? पहले रोना धोना बंद करो."
Okay, let me come in now. Tehseen Poonawalla, now, one second, now let's listen to my question very carefully, Tehseen. In the year 2020, in December, the foundation stone, the original foundation stone of the current building was being laid, and I was incidentally there at that ceremony. At that particular ceremony, there were 2 leaders in both the houses, the opposition leaders, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary were invited. The former did not attend because of COVID concerns, the latter because he was busy in his constituency. When this is the track record of what has happened the last time round when there was a foundation stone being laid, if this is the seriousness with which this issue was being looked at that point of time, just a little less than 2 years ago, then, one will also question what is the seriousness and the consistency of opposition parties, including the Congress, who are today questioning the PM and the government.
At the peak of COVID, when people are not crowding, though they had reasons, you are blaming the opposition for not coming at the peak of COVID when we know exactly what happened Jan and in 2021 with the amount of COVID, unfortunate deaths and oxygen shortage that we see. So instead of patting the opposition's back, we are criticizing the opposition. Second, the BJP says, oh, the opposition is opposing Central Vista.
If you were serious about attending these events, they could have attended at that point of time.
Please,
maintain social distancing norms. In fact, Mr. Adhiranjan Chaudhary was not even in town. He was in his constituency. It was not because of COVID that he didn't attend.
Sir, please allow me to make my points. Sir, I understand. I'm just giving you my points. You can cut me out after I finish.
Okay.
Sir. Please,
okay,
I'll just take very little time. Number two, the question being raised by the BJP is that the opposition is criticizing something. So even if the opposition criticizes, you'll cut the opposition out from this country. Third, the BJP on this channel continuously lied about Chhattisgarh. Not only was the leader of opposition present there, he spoke at that ceremony, and the foundation stone was laid by the Honorable Chief Minister and the Honorable Speaker. Here the Speaker was not involved. He was sitting behind. The Speaker is the custodian of the House, and the Prime Minister is the government of India. It's the President's government. The President addresses the government as his government. It is sad that the President was not there. The President should have been there. But had the President been there, the Prime Minister would not have got the protocol. Because the President would have gone to... Can I please be allowed to speak? I didn't speak.
Yeah, okay. Tehseen, make your point. Let him make his point. Sanju Verma, you didn't want to be interrupted. I stopped them. Please now calm down. Let him make his point.
Yeah.
Okay, let him complete. Tehseen, quickly complete your point. 15 seconds.
My 15 seconds, my point is that yes, I disagree with my friend Dr. Ranganathan. The President of India should have been there because this is his government. The Parliament is answerable ultimately to the President whose government it is, along with the opposition. But here the President wasn't there. Why? Ask and think. Because the President would have got the focus and in protocol he would have been higher. The Prime Minister cannot take that. Therefore, the same Chhattisgarh was example Sanju Verma gave, which was the foundations laid by the Chief Minister and Speaker. Here the Speaker was kept behind. This is an insult to the Parliament, an insult to the opposition, and an insult to we the people of India. That's the sad part.
All right. It's an insult to the Parliament and to the people of the country. Dr. Ranganathan, respond.
Yes, to my very good friend Tehseen, all I have to say is, as I said, the President wasn't there because it was just the launching or the inauguration of the emblem, not the whole house, Tehseen. If tomorrow there is a canteen being inaugurated, and Modi is walking and I say, all right, let me inaugurate the canteen of Parliament House. You'll say, "Arey bhai, hame bulaya nahi, Rahul ko nahi bulaya. Canteen inaugurate kar di bina Rahul ke." Please, once the whole Parliament House, the new building is up and running, of course, everyone. No, please don't interrupt. And secondly, I wanted to say, in January 2021.
Sorry, but do you compare the national emblem to a canteen?
No, did I say that? Am I saying that? Did I say that? Tehseen, I don't expect you to say that.
No, but I'm just saying,
CMC spokesperson
let Modi ji inaugurate canteens. Who's stopping him? I'm sorry.
Now, one second. In 2021, when Subhash Chandra Bose, when in opposite Victoria Memorial, Madhav, you remember, when Modi and Mamata Didi were on stage, who walked huffed and puffed and walked off the stage? It was Mamata Didi. So they have a visceral hatred for Modi. They have a visceral hatred for this whole plan, but still they want to be invited. वो भी emblem के उस पे, यार चिट भी मेरी, पट भी मेरी. It doesn't work like that, यार. You have to. And can I please ask Tehseen, जाते how long did it take for Ms. Sonia Gandhi to meet President Kovind after he was elected as the president? Tell me, Tehseen. Straight question to you.
Quick response from Tehseen.
But how is that important?
So,
the opposition, the leaders of opposition from the Congress have been meeting the Honorable President. There's nothing, that's not important. Why should Mrs. Gandhi? Why do you want validation from Mrs. Gandhi?
Okay, that's an irrelevant point you're making, Dr. Ranganathan. Completely irrelevant to this debate.
Now, Madhav, only 10 seconds and I will prove Tehseen wrong. When they are making such hue and cry about an emblem being inaugurated and them not invited, Here is Miss Sonia Gandhi, who was the leader at that point of time of the largest party or Congress's opposition party, did not even meet Mr. Kovind for possibly a year after he was inaugurated as the president. और यहाँ ये emblem के पीछे पड़े हुए हैं.
Okay.
So you see the difference now, I hope.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen. Completely out of time on this debate. Sanju Verma, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Professor Manojit Mandal, Tehseen Poonawalla and Brijmohan Srivastav. Clearly, we haven't heard the last word yet as far as politics over the new Parliament building or Central Vista is concerned. But certainly, politics on a day when our national symbol was erected atop the central foyer of the new Parliament building. This should have been a day where all Indians should certainly have been very proud of. Unfortunately, this event too has been politicized. We're just going to leave it there for the moment and move on to debate number 2.